Before I go any further with this, I just want to say I love and appreciate you. Thank you for watching. In this video, I'm going to talk about dreams, but it's not going to be just any old dream video. I'm going to talk about empowerment through dreaming. You know, a lot of us take our dreams for granted. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, dreams are like the ocean. You know, the ocean is really deep, and it's one of our biggest resources that we take for granted. And, you know, they say that we explore space and all of this, but we don't even know it's in the ocean. So, you know, it's kind of strange to me. And, you know, a dream is kind of the same way. You know, we don't care about it. We just kind of let it go and let it happen. But there's some really important gems in a dream. And by understanding those gems that we receive through a dream, some major changes can happen. And, you know, I'm talking about changes everywhere, changes outside. But, you know, all change starts within. And I'm gonna, you know, it's the whole nature of a dream is, you know, inner work and discussing and learning and understanding what's happening within, which has a major effect on, you know, what's outside. So thank you for checking me out, and let's go.
Here's an overview of what's about to come. I'll firstly go into discussing and sharing about how day, light, and season cycles are tied to and associated with dreams. From there, I'll talk about how dreams and consciousness are divinely guided. After that, I'll share a story with you of how I came to realize how powerful dreams truly are and how they truly coincide with reality. And I'll end the video by talking about and sharing with you some simple tools that you can use to mine your dreams and extract some of the power from them.
So doing a video here about the power of dreams and the importance of dreams. But before I go any deeper into that, let me talk about some things and some background information before I go further. I feel that we can learn, know, understand anything regarding our own nature, ourselves, the universe, consciousness, reality, etc., by looking at any situation, anything that happens, and just examining the details of that occurrence and comparing the details of that occurrence to ourselves, the whole state of ourselves, our feelings, our thoughts, everything within us that we sense and feel. We take all those resources and we compare them, and we can learn and pretty much know about anything. I feel that we are our own universe. And, you know, our realities are interconnected. We all share this existence together. And here I have a picture of day and night. And I'll go even further with analogies and examples here using day and night. Day, a lot of people like to compare day to consciousness, or compare the sun to being consciousness. And I think that's a pretty good analogy, but I'll take it further. Day to me is like the big stage of, like, you know, a big movie, a big performance that you're doing in front of a huge audience. It's very live. It's very important, and you want to get it right. You want it to be perfect, because there's no, you know, fixing it. There's no going back and making things right. And that performance is really, really important, because you don't get to do it again. Now you take the night. The night is kind of like your rehearsals, where you get to practice and see what will work and what won't work on that big stage. And you get to be flexible. You get to add things in, you get to throw things out, but you really want to do a good job during that time because it's going to reflect what you do on that stage. And you could ask a question like, which is more important, the day or the night, the stage or the rehearsals? And I think it's a no-brainer. They're both vital. They both support one another. And you can even go as far as to say that the night is more important because the day is supported by the night, or the performance is supported by all of the practice. If there's no practice, there's no perfection of the performance. So I just talked about the symbolism of daytime and nighttime, looking for any answer that you may have about anything. But I don't think that daytime and nighttime are represented equally. I think daytime and nighttime are represented more like this picture here. It's of an iceberg. And of course, at the top is the part that you see, and below the water is the part that you don't see, which is far more bigger, which is it's the bulk of the iceberg. It's the part that really matters. And the top, the part that you see, is like the stage. But the part that's below water is like the practices, the auditions, the all the things that you did to prepare for the stage. And with this iceberg, I think it demonstrates and shows which one I feel is more important. And I think an iceberg also symbolizes the importance of understanding your dreams. I think this is an awesome representation and symbolism of what I'm going to continue to talk about. So we just talked about day and night and some of the patterns that you can see with day and night, and compare them to ourselves, and understand about our own nature and answer questions by learning about us, by just paying attention to what's in front of us. Here, seasons are no different. Seasons are quite similar to day and night. It's also a cycle, a much bigger cycle, of course. And I'll focus right now on the winter season. Winter season, depending on where you are, most of us associate the winter with really cold weather. And it's a time where it forces us inside, whether that's inside indoors or inside of our own bodies, in order to grow, for inner strength, to grow stronger, to endure the hardships. Because, winter, depending on where you are, I know where I am, where it's been freezing the past week or so, and the weather can hurt. It can physically hurt, and it could kill you. It could kill you. So when you get under circumstances like this, it really forces you to really go through a period of self-evaluation, and you learn a lot of things about yourself. You don't grow and get better being comfortable. You grow through hardships. You get better. Pressure makes diamonds. And also another piece of symbolism with seasons, the winter season, the days are shorter. There's less light. There's less of a stage. There's more rehearsal time. There's more practice time. There's more self-reflection time. And it's not really a time for you to, celebrate too much, or a time for you to look for external things too much. It's a time to go deep inside and do the soul searching, do the soul fixing, and make things better, make the changes that you need to make to go forward. So, winter, it doesn't seem like a happy time. We try to make it a happy time, by putting holidays like Christmas and so forth during this time to make it happier. But you know, it's really a time to look deep inside and get some self evaluation and self growth and really grow. You know, the main theme I'm talking about here is that it's a lot more darkness. And darkness, I think, symbolizes and represents a time of really deep self reflection and inner growth. And the darkness also represents, I just showed you the iceberg, and the part that's below the water is the bulk of the iceberg. It's the most important part. Or if you look at the analogy of the iceberg being a stage, it's the rehearsal part. It's the part where you perfect what you're going to perform on the surface or on the stage. We are divinely guided. I think there's not much debate on those words. I think most of us can agree upon that. I guess the part that a lot of us don't agree upon is how we're divinely guided and who we're divinely guided up under. I guess that's the part up for debate. But with divine guidance, our actions are divinely guided and our consciousnesses are divinely guided. Our dreams are divinely guided. Our actions every day are divinely guided. There's a price to pay for everything that we do. Nothing is free. I guess another thing that most of us can agree upon in terms of divine guidance and spirituality and a God, philosophical beliefs, what have you, is that we are all interconnected. We're all in this together. I think a lot of us believe in the butterfly effect, where what I do affects you, no matter how far away you are from me. And one system of divine guidance that I like to follow, and I don't put it over any other system, it's just easy for me to follow. So therefore I go to the path of least resistance, and something that has kind of worked for me. And when I say work, I simply understand it. And for this here, I'm talking about astrology. And of course, there's lots of moving parts in astrology. But here I'll just kind of talk about the moon, because the moon, it has a very, very we have a very, very intimate relationship with the moon. The moon represents our nature, our inside of us, what makes us feel comfortable, what makes our instinctual feelings, the things that are very near and dear and close to our hearts. The moon's tied to that. So here I'm just going to talk about the moon, even though there's lots of moving parts in astrology. You shouldn't really isolate any one thing. But with the moon follows a month-long cycle. So over a month's length of time, the moon goes through all of our emotions. And in astrology, we all are oriented to the moon or oriented to all the other planets differently. So we all don't experience things the same way. We all experience these differences. Sometimes some of us slightly different, some of us very similarly. But no matter what happens, what affects me has an effect on you, and what has an effect on you has an effect on me, and so forth. Based on the 12 house system, the moon goes through each of the 12 houses, each of the 12 parts of our lives
over a month's period of time. So each house it goes through, it takes about 2.5 days. And over these 2.5 days of being in each portion of our lives or each house, it does emotional instinctual housekeeping. It keeps us emotionally instinctually responsible for everything that goes on in our lives, for each part of our lives, the 12 house system, 12 parts of our lives. And this has a huge influence on how we dream and the purpose of our dream. So this is also something to consider when you look into your dreams. So I use the sun and the moon as like a guide because, not because they're special, and they are as far as I'm concerned, but because they're easy. We all are familiar with them and they're easy to use as examples. And, the premise that I'm kind of following here about, just taking, the simple nature of anything, the things that we observe every day and finding our answers there, using that concept, following that concept. But we all have a divine path, a divine purpose, and the sun guides us on that divine path. It kind of shows us where to go, what to do, makes it easy for us. And the moon also guides us too. The moon, it seems, it guides us. It helps us follow our hearts and keep our hearts and our feelings. Keep us content with that. So we all have paths, and our dreams can help us stay on our paths. They can guide us along our way on our paths if we just listen to them. So we're all walking along our own respective paths in our lives. We're divinely guided by entities such as the sun and the moon, and even phenomenons such as dreams. Dreams divinely guide us too. And with the dream, like earlier, I made references to nighttime and winter, times of prolonged darkness. These are the times where we are put in positions where we're kind of forced to look inside and to grow, to rehearse, to learn something about ourselves, even to help us go to the next level and keep us on that path and keep us nice and strong. Now, with the dream, a dream it can do some really profound, deep things. Like I don't want you to underestimate the power of a dream, and it's the purpose of me making this video. And I'll share with you my story, and my story is gonna kind of illustrate how powerful a dream can be. And a dream isn't just something you like watching a movie, and then you say, oh, this happened like this in the movie, oh, I get it, and then you make the change. It could be like that, but for me, a dream, it's life changing. It can really transform your whole perception, your whole point of view on life, and even like physical things and really concrete things. It can make a really huge change, huge impact on that, which is why I'm making the video, and it's my purpose. It's why I'm so passionate about the words that I'm expressing here.
Dreams are a really powerful, tangible, real part of reality. Dreams matter. Dreams are important. And dreams it can really change your life. They can really change who you are and really change your circumstances. And when I say change, I'm talking about, not the change of, someone on the outside of you, but I'm talking about the changes within yourself. Because those are the changes that matter most. Because you change. When you change, the world changes. It's automatic. For me, when I came to realize how powerful these dreams are, and the effects that dreams have on me and on just my life, it was years ago. I was just finished with the military, and while I was in the military, I participated for approximately a year in a war. And I, I went back home. I went back to my normal life after the military. Decided not to stay. And during that time, I quickly realized that I wasn't the same person that I used to be. A lot of my happiness was gone, and I just had a lot of things on my mind that I just couldn't take my mind off of. I had PTSD-like symptoms, and I needed something to really just take my mind away from that and really just keep me busy, really. So I just really poured myself into my hobby. It was more than a hobby; it was a passion of mine at the time. I really loved combat sports and fighting and activities like this and exercise, the whole everything that goes along with that type of thing. So during that time, I decided to continue on with boxing. At the time, I was doing boxing. Did other combat sports too, but at the time, boxing was what I was focusing on. And while I was in the military, I had done it for a couple of years, so I knew how to do it, and I was pretty comfortable with it. And I I just poured myself into it just to stay busy, so I wouldn't think about my demons and just my crazy thoughts and things like this. And I built myself up over a year and decided to do a couple of amateur fights. I had done unsanctioned fights before, but these will be my first sanctioned fights. And I built myself up a year, did my first couple of amateur fights and lost them. And for me, it was devastating because I hadn't been losing my fights before, all my fights prior, and the people that I lost to I wasn't supposed to lose to, and it was really embarrassing time for me. And prior to that, leading up to that point, like over a year leading up to that point, I was having dreams. I don't know whether to call them bad or call them whatever, but I was having dreams. I was having a recurrent dream, the same dream over and over. Like in 1 month, I'd have the same dream like 5 times in 1 month, and this went on for over a year, leading up to that point. And the dream, it was the same type of dream. In the dream, I was just basically running from something. I don't even know what I was running from. All I know is that whatever I was running from, I was really scared of it. It was behind me, and I was running hard, and I was just really, really terrified of whatever was chasing me. I had this dream over and over and over. It was a recurrent dream. And after I lost those 2 fights, I met someone really special. Someone really special came into my life, and I'm lucky in that in life I tend to meet like these key people that really just change me and have a really profound effect on me. And this person was one of those people. This person really understood me. They knew how to soothe my mind and how to get me to be more grounded. They really knew how my mind worked. The person just really got me. They really understood me, and I really needed that person at that time. And the person just seemed to come out of nowhere. So I consider it like a blessing. And right around this time, I had another dream, the same dream where I'm running, and I'm scared, I'm terrified. But in this dream, it was a little bit different. I no longer wanted to run anymore. I was tired of running. I was ready to face it. I was just thinking, why am I running? Why am I running? I never questioned why I was running before in the other dreams. But in this dream, I suddenly got brave and I stopped. I said, wherever this is that's chasing me, I'm going to either deal with it, fight it, or I'm just going to be consumed by it. It's going to destroy me. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm tired of running. I'm not going to run anymore. So when I turned around, I looked at whatever it was, and I still don't know what it was. I just know I was scared of it, and I was ready. I felt strong, and I was ready to do whatever I needed to do to get rid of it. And it was just like a ball of, it was just like ball of energy, a ball of nothingness. I can't identify what it was. I just know I was scared of it. And it began to just shrink down, shrink down, shrink down, shrink down, shrink down. It's like this huge, just scariness, ball of fear or whatever. It just shrank down into nothing, and it vanished and it disappeared. And from that point on, I never had that dream ever again about someone chasing me. And from that point on, I won the rest of my fights, the rest of my amateur fights, like 7 amateur fight winning streak. And then I did some professional fights, and I won like the next 5 of my professional fights. So I went on like this over a 2-year, more than 10 fight winning streak. And nothing really changed about my ability. It was more like psychological things. It was my confidence, and it was mental things that changed. It wasn't my ability. I wasn't any stronger. I was actually stronger before. I was actually a little bit weaker this time. Weaker at this point. I was stronger before. What the mental part was what was the big change. And at that time, I didn't really care about esoteric things and looking into the psychology of dreams and stuff like this. I didn't care about it. I didn't think about it. Didn't really know about it. Understood it. And I guess I was too young to really care that much, or too just not interested to care that much. I look at it now with a different viewpoint and a different understanding. And I began to, analyze, the parts of the dream. What was I dreaming about, and what was going on in life? And I began to really piece it together and understand it better. And I learned some really important things about myself. And if I had focused at that point and at that time, some greater understanding, I feel that some really powerful things could have happened. Some even more powerful things could have happened if I had a greater understanding then, like I do now. So that's my little story about how powerful dreams can be.
Okay, so now let's talk about some ways to harness and capture the power of our dreams. Now, I'm going to talk about a few methods here. And this first method that I'll talk about here is dream diary. Me, myself, I've had a dream diary for a couple of years now. And I don't log into my dream diary every night. Actually, I average about 5 times a month of putting entries into my dream diary. And sometimes I don't remember. Sometimes I'm too busy to write my dream down. But the more I do it, the better I get at remembering my dreams. The more realistic my dreams become, because I'm focusing on them and I'm making them real. I'm putting importance on them by actually trying to remember my dreams. What you focus on, what you think about becomes reality. And some of our dreams aren't happy, and we don't want them to be realities. But sometimes we should deal with things that are uncomfortable in order to make the change and make the progress and move things forward. And in that case, that's where this will be beneficial, where you have a bad dream and you bring it into real form. You bring it from the world of your dreams into the physical world of writing them down and becoming concrete reality. You took something from one world and you brought it to another world, a world that's more real for you. And also with the dream diary, the more you do it, the better you get at doing it. And also with the dream diary, it puts you in touch with who you are. A lot of life that I feel a lot of life is like a lot of purposes, and a lot of our purposes in life is to understand who we are. It's to really deep down explore who we are and really, self-mastery. I think a lot of the most successful people, and, success can be defined, it depends on who's defining success. A lot of the most successful people are People that accomplish some type of self-mastery. They learn what they have, and they really exploit, and they really get the most out of what they have. They really appreciate what they have, and they really tap into it. They tap into their gifts, and sometimes we have to find our gifts. So a dream diary is a really powerful tool. So now you're writing your dreams down. What's next? What's next is that you want to understand what you're writing down, what you're experiencing in your dreams. What's the point of, you see it, so now you need to understand it. And in that case, you would need to, I guess, understand some dream symbolism. You could go to an expert, someone that has devoted, a lot of their life to understanding dreams, and they could give you some guidance. Or you could do some work yourself. You can go to a library, and you can look these things up yourself. But be careful if you go to a library, or if you go to someone that's a specialist, because a lot of these symbols and symbolism, they're generic. They don't mean the same thing for everyone. A lot of times they could mean the same thing for a group of people, for mostly everyone, or everyone within the same culture. But keep in mind that cultures vary, and even subcultures vary. So you'd have to be aware of that and know where you differ from other people in understanding what your dream symbolism means.
Mine your dreams. It's a really valuable place. Again, much love out there. I love and appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, browse my channel. Love to hear what's on your mind. Y'all take care out there. I'm gone.